Roller coaster, a thrill-seeking adventure that you either love or you hate. Next time you're waiting in line for a roller coaster ride, assuming that you will ride a roller coaster, take a moment to look at the faces of those who are getting off the ride. As they come back to the start, you'll see three groups of people. Those that had fun and they're genuinely smiling and laughing. Those that absolutely hated it and they're not shy about expressing their displeasure. And the funniest one to me are those that are trying to pretend like they liked it, but that smile is as fake as a $2 bill. And if you look closely, you can still see the sheer terror on their face. Not everyone is daring enough to ride a roller coaster. The odds of dying on a roller coaster are 1 in 300 million. Of those that have died on a roller coaster, most either died from being stupid. In other words, they tried to stand up, didn't bother to buckle in, or they got on with a known heart condition and died of a heart attack while riding the coaster. Speaking of heart attacks, the odds of dying from a heart disease are 1 in 5. While some will over-concern themselves about dying on a roller coaster, not many of us are overly concerned about dying from heart disease. Most of us do not even think twice about getting on the diet roller coaster, which can indirectly increase our odds of dying from heart disease. The diet roller coaster is that beast of a ride that many of us get on that makes our weight and our body fat fluctuate up and down and up and down over and over again. It's easy to understand why it happens. Life is life, and it sometimes gets in the way. One day, we're in high school, young, invincible, energetic, and the next, we're in middle age with gray or no hair, and don't like to see all the extra parts hanging around when we look in the mirror. In other words, we let ourselves go. When we start gaining weight, most of us realize we do not look like we used to, and we decide to do something about that. That something for many of us is to go on a diet. When we think of diet, we think of eating less and restricting foods. This method can work, but there is a hefty price we pay. When we cut calories, don't get enough protein, and do not exercise, we lose muscle, which is going to decrease our metabolism. In fact, research shows that when we lose weight by dieting alone, only 65% of the weight loss comes from fat, while the other 35% comes from muscle. Once we get back to our old behaviors, now with a lower metabolism, we gain the fat back rather rapidly, and usually a few more pounds are added as we go. Because it worked the first time, this causes us to try the diet again, getting the same result. We then go back to our old habits, and we gain it all back, and then some. Welcome to the ride of your life on the diet roller coaster. To illustrate the devastating effects this can have, here's an example of an 18-year-old just getting out of high school and how over time what is happening to muscle mass and fat mass as weight yo-yos up and down. At age 18 and graduating from high school, our subject weighs 130 pounds. He has 105 pounds of lean weight. That is muscle, skin, bones, and all the good stuff. And 25 pounds of fat weight, which makes them 19% body fat. This would be in the moderate category for a male and good category for a female for body fat for their age. Over the next 7 years, our subject does not exercise or control nutrition and gains 10 pounds. Since there was no exercise involved, we can assume that all the weight gain is in the form of fat, taking our subject to a body fat percentage of 25%. A few years go by, and the 10-year class reunion is approaching. Wanting to look good for all the schoolmates, our subject decides to go on a diet again. It works, and they get back to the 130 pounds. However, we now know that when only cutting calories, 65% of that 10 pounds will be fat and 35% will be muscle. Lean weight drops by 4 pounds and fat weight by 5 pounds. Body fat percentage is now 22%. After the reunion, where everyone said they looked great, our subject goes back to their old habits, and in no time at all, the weight is back and a little more. At 30 years old, they are 145 pounds, but since there was no exercise, all of it has been fat weight, so that lean weight is 101 pounds, and fat weight is 44 pounds with a body fat percentage of 30%. This is now the obese category for a male and overweight for a female of that age. The next event is their significant other decides to take a cruise. Our subject wants to look their best and so again goes on a diet. The weight comes off, but much more slowly this time and with a lot more effort. 65% of the weight is fat and 35% is muscle, now making our subject 130 pounds with 96 pounds of lean weight and 34 pounds of fat weight and 26% body fat. As soon as the cruise is over, it's back to business as usual, and the weight comes back with a few extra pounds. And now, at 150 pounds, metabolism is at rock bottom because lean mass has decreased to 96 pounds, fat weight is at 54 pounds, and body fat is at 36%, the obese category for either male or female. Many people will have even more staggering swings in weight and body fat than in this example. So ask yourself, are you a gambler? Do you like playing the odds? Although riding a real roller coaster feels thrilling and daring, with odds of 1 in 300 million, it's hardly living on the edge. When you consider the link between obesity and heart disease, riding the diet roller coaster may even place you in the 1 in 5 odds of dying from heart disease. The odds of dying are 1 in 1. What are the odds of that event coming sooner than it should?